We live in a world that constantly focuses on the hate and negativity surrounded by our everyday life. News and media outlets rarely have top stories that focus on the charitable good news that can give hope to a society that is surrounded by unpleasant reports. Even for some of us, the constant reminder of this unfortunate news can begin to take a toll on one's mental health as they begin to lose all hope for the future of the world and even in themselves. And while it's easy to get so caught up in the sorrow and tragedy in the world, it's important to remember that you were put on this earth for a destined reason. This is a story about my sweetheart and his journey about rising up from the darkness that engulfs the world and coming up to the surface where the bright light of hope now shines upon him through his passion for music. We met in high school in our small cattle ranch towns that were only about 20 minutes away from each other. As our mutual friends brought us together, my sweetheart and I immediately became each other's muse. Our friendship transcended immediately into a soul passion we had for one another. But as I got to know him more, I realized that he had some dark secrets hidden in the closet. Once I really broke through my sweetheart's shell, I found out that depression was tugging at the core of his mental health. He had been so caught up in all the tragedy that consumed the world that this depression almost changed his whole demeanor about his sole purpose in this wild ride we call life. Watching my sweetheart go through many dark days and nights without relief felt agonizing. Nothing seemed to make him joyful or excited. Even as he had a high-paying job, the money didn't even seem to satisfy his soul either. This is the moment I knew that I needed to help him find his happiness and passion for life again. So as I constantly scrambled through my mind trying to search for ways to build up his purpose in life again, I started to create a list of activities I knew he felt passionate about, like snowboarding, drawing, boxing, and then it came to me, music. Once I realized music was one of his many outlets he used to get away from the real world, I started to encourage him to come away with me to a music festival. Even after experiencing our first big EDM festival, my sweetheart was totally mesmerized by the effects and the happiness this music brought to him as we stood in a crowd full of random people. This experience had him eager and excited to come back for more, which was the first time in a long time I hadn't seen him wallowing in his depression. This new light I saw shining in his eyes made me hopeful that he was on the right path to celebrating his life again. Although once this experience was over, I worried that he would crawl back in his shell again the moment we arrived home. But the only thing I heard him talk about on the ride back home, and many days after that, is the heavenly feeling this music brought to him. So as I watched him as he blasted music from various EDM playlists and artists on Spotify day after day, I thought, what more could he do in order to fulfill this feeling to resonate with his musical passion? This is when I suggested to him that he might find himself interested in actually learning how to DJ and produce music. Once I presented this idea to my sweetheart, I led him on the beginning of his new journey to explore making EDM music himself. This is when I finally saw the light shine bright on top of him. This new journey became the highlight of my sweetheart's life, as he still to this day practices with music non-stop for about 2 years now. I've watched him grow so much, and his personality has been happy, fierce, and energetic ever since he's been in front of his DJ mixer. My sweetheart has succeeded in all aspects of creating music and overcoming the darkness of his depression. I never thought he'd come out and see the bright light of his future with his incredible hidden talent, but as I strongly always held hope in him, he also began to see the hope for himself as well. I believe without my sweetheart finding his passion for creating music and being a DJ, he would not be here today. The art saved him and survived him from falling back into a deep, deep, dark hole. The lesson to take away in this story is to never give up on the fire that lives strongly inside you. Everyone has a passion for something that can save a life, and in this story, it just happened to be the art of music that lifted and saved my sweetheart's soul.